Hello and welcome to Galle, and you would say it rather like the way you'd say the word hull. And this is my coconut man. I'm very grateful for the wonderful coconut medicine. As we know, coconut is brain food, it's antibiotic, got loads of useful properties. And on my walk to the seafront, I noticed this group of school children. The fact that they wear these brilliant white uniforms really struck me. You can see there's a guy with a drum. And they invited me to do some drumming, which they really loved. And very clearly they enjoyed meeting someone from a foreign country. And as always, I was asked the question, where are you from? And people are really interested to know that you're English. Seems to cut very well over there. So it was quite an amazing experience. And I got to meet the children's teacher, and the teacher had actually brought her child along as well, who was much younger, and I had a little chat with the girl, and the girl was able to ask me questions which the mother wasn't able to ask, and that was really interesting to notice as well. And then there were the crows. Crows are a really ubiquitous part of Galle. They're everywhere, very much so, and I couldn't help taking the photograph of the guy's back of his t-shirt there. Hello everyone, I'm at the mosque with my coconut, and I'm going to enter the mosque and I'm going to pray for my good fortune and give thanks for my good fortune, and to give thanks for Ahmed Salahuddin, who invited me here to Sri Lanka that I may have this experience. Great gratitude to you, sir, and to all the people that have blessed my stay. Thank you. So I have given thanks in the mosque for my good fortune. It's my lifetime first to enter a mosque, my lifetime first to pray in a mosque, my lifetime first to make a selfie film. Thank you everyone. So outside the mosque is this area, and this is to wash your feet in, so that everyone enters a mosque has clean feet. Obviously very important. And I'm just having a stroll around what is called the fort. So I imagine it's the ancient town. I have absolutely no idea about its origin yet. I'm sure I'll find out at some point. It is one of the very few places where there is very little litter, and there are lots of bins to put it in. Generally speaking, in Sri Lanka you don't expect to find a bin anywhere, so it's really different. And I can see why the visitors would love this place, because the cleanliness is going to appeal to a lot of people, as are the old buildings. So how's that for an old building then? Looks pretty old to me. And this is a very rare experience for me so far in Sri Lanka, because today is a hot sunny day. Normally days are hot and not sunny. In fact, there's usually a lot of rain, so very different today. So I'm just literally bimbling around quite aimlessly. And at some point I'll have some lunch, I guess. I just found the library. I just got to go and have a look inside, see what it's like. So this is a library in Galle, and I thought I'd go in and have a look. And I guess one of the things I noticed is it's got this incredibly old-fashioned feel, with books in bookshelves behind glass doors, which is pretty remarkable. There were a few people sitting in there reading quite happily and peacefully. It had a very peaceful feel to it, and a very traditional feel, that place. And here I am back outside again, having a look around what's going on, just getting a feel of the place a bit more. And yeah, umbrellas are used against the sun as well as against the rain, because this was one of the very few days that was sunny. That building attracted my attention, and then that's what it is. And my next port of call was to look at the post office. Now, post offices are really amazing because they're so old-fashioned. They're completely pre-internet, which makes it interesting to experience and very helpful. And you've got more of a chance of people understanding English in post offices than you have in most places you visit. And this is a children's preschool place which interested me, and I also got to notice a secondary school as well. that was a secondary school. Lots of sounds of children shouting in there. So there's a particularly beautiful central square with the most wonderful trees. And it's a reminder this is not just a place for visitors, this is a place for people to work. And here we can see lawyers, notaries advertising their services, photocopying, as well as all the antiques and all the rest of it. So this is the tree that's really drawing my attention. This tree really caught my imagination and interest because of its size and its unusual appearance. And I found out later on from Dan it's called a banyan tree, which is indeed famous in that part of the world. It has these roots which extend from the branches all the way down to the ground. You can see them there. Really spectacular. And a tree like this was essential because what it does, it provides shade. And shade is very important to have in a town centre to give people opportunities somewhere to be where they're not going to get roasted by the heat. What a magnificent tree, and probably many hundreds of years old too. And as you can see, lots of people taking advantage of the shade there. And there's some kind of municipal building. Now this is the old Dutch hospital, which is a very interesting building indeed, and it had only been done up just a few months before I arrived, so it's incredibly brand new, and it's probably the most expensive place in the whole of Galle, and the quality of everything there was extraordinarily good. Here we are back in the more commercial district. And finally, the shot you've all been waiting for, surely. Yes, the beach. The sea is clear. It's clean. And it's absolutely gorgeous. Knowing me as you do, of course, I absolutely loved going in the sea. And one of my really interesting experiences was what I would call a man of considerable years, and he was standing with his feet in the water. His feet were very severely swollen, and I started talking to him. He said, I've really got a problem. My problem is I'm afraid of the rain. And this guy really was absolutely terrified of the rain. He says, do you think it's going to rain soon? Do you think it's going to rain soon? And it's just a really strange image in my mind of a man standing with his feet in the water to cool down the swelling, terrified of rain. What can you say? I've just treated myself to the most extraordinary meal I've eaten in the entire time I'm in Sri Lanka, at a place called the Tuna and the Crab, and it's with a Japanese twist, utterly extraordinary. And I had a shock because when I tasted the miso soup for the first time, I was amazed at the effect it had on me, and I clearly have lived in Japan some other time because it's just extraordinary. So with great gratitude to Galle, like Hull. I had 2 mornings in this hostel, and each time the TV was on, at the moment this is the Sri Lankan equivalent of Pop Idol that you're watching, and my first morning I was with a bunch of Americans, and they were watching Friends. It looked like season number 1, and the thing that occurred to me is that they seemed to be kind of, there's no nice way to say it, like brain dead zombies. They just didn't seem to be engaging with anything other than TV. They could have been anywhere in the world. They just didn't seem to be noticing at all. No one was engaging with anyone. And then the following day I was with a bunch of Chinese people, and the contrast couldn't have been more extreme, because they were showing signs of overt intelligence. They were interested to have conversation. They were not at all watching American soap reruns. In fact, they were not bothered about the TV. They were having conversation with themselves. And I ended up taking some photographs and sharing them with them on email. And they told me what they did, what their jobs were, and a little bit about China. And the contrast between those two experiences was really quite extreme. And so back to TV, and this does show that the love in Sri Lanka of singing and anything to do with singing is such a big thing out there. And I love the fact that, as you saw, those children, you know, some of them were really overweight, whatever, doesn't matter. The singing voice is a great gift and something that's very important to Sri Lankan people. Nice to see. But you don't have that, do you? You don't do Earl Grey tea here, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have.
Do you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Right.
That's it, I saw him.
Okay.
We are the poet for the Aman Galle.
So what's really interesting to realise is that all the teas this guy was selling in his shop are all from Sri Lanka, and he's making a very interesting distinction for me, which is that the teas which are grown up in the mountainous regions taste very, very different from the ones which are grown in the lowland regions by the sea. I suppose that kind of makes sense, doesn't it? And perfect the way the teas are all kept, and there are actually special refrigeration units for certain teas which have to be kept at a particular temperature to keep them fresh. And Sri Lanka has its own version of Earl Grey and other popular teas that we have in England, as well as their own obviously unique Sri Lankan ones such as Broken Orange Pekoe. And these beautiful images, these artworks, were created by a friend of the man who runs the shop, and it's actually created by an Englishman. Obviously loves his tea. And there you see the temperature of the tea in the refrigeration unit, 13 degrees. And you imagine temperature 29 degrees in Sri Lanka, you've got to have a special refrigeration unit for those teas.
You know Buckingham Place, sir?
So he's just making me some white tea to try in this very unusual device. So this is the white tea.
Yeah, expensive.
So this special device is heating the water to a very specific temperature before being added to the pot. See, it's bubbling. And 70 degrees. Oh, I never knew that.
I didn't, not enough.
So this is my white tea, which has not been brewed so long, this is probably perfect for me. This one is brewed properly and is too strong for me.
Too strong?
And yeah, the beauty of the sunset time by the sea, definitely a memory to treasure. There's the old Dutch hospital, which you can see again gives you an idea of what it's like. And that's where there was the amazing tea shop with the computer and all the rest of it. And it's where the amazing Thai restaurant and the Japanese restaurants were located. So here's a little bit about nightlife in Galle. Thought I'd show you a little bit of what it's like. And I'm pleased to say that there were plenty of things to do up until around about 10 o'clock in the evening, and then it did start to quieten down very drastically. So it's certainly not like a country like Spain where things only begin at 9 p.m. It's a little bit more conservative in that sense. Well, here we are. It's Monday evening in Galle Fort, and I'm experiencing facets of life I didn't think I would ever experience in my lifetime, to be really bluntly honest with you folks. It's totally extraordinary here. Great gratitude to Ahmed yet again for being the person to invite me here. And to Charith and to Deepal for making it all happen. Thank you. Wow, this is truly an extraordinary experience. I can accurately say I've never eaten anything remotely like this in my life. It's absolutely sensational. And mega compliments to the chefs. Well, how do I explain what just happened? Theoretically, I've eaten a meal, but something far more significant has happened. The restaurant owner came up to me at the end and asked me if it was too spicy. I said, that's not too spicy, that's an experience. Comparable to an experience with a psychoactive plant, this food. And this location must be included on the new retreats. There's going to be some program that is going to be laid out for people. I'm still feeling a profoundly altered state of consciousness from this meal. And with this great gratitude, I'm going to go shake the hands of the chefs.